The associative superpower.
He worked hard for that.
Superpower by association.
That's right. I can use some of that.
Ah, you get it every night you cast with me, don't you?
Oh, you're so generous. Thank you.
Thanks for the easy one there. Just hit that layup.
Why would I want the superpower that helps me pick out great ties? Or the superpower to know types of ties nobody else knows exist? Like, that's a pretty useless superpower, man. But
you only get that at international events because I don't get to pick my clothes here.
That's true.
And we don't go to international events together anymore, Noah, so it doesn't matter.
We don't go at all.
We go to ESL.
We do. We go to that together. Yeah.
All right, Ashe first picked here from Samsung, so big change in the draft. Now they see the Sivir is gone. Samsung happy to pick that Ashe. It was picked first in both of our games yesterday, so we do see that priority rising, but with no Ashe ban as we typically see against Samsung. Gonna mix it up a little bit, and this could be the Jhin coming in, one of Fury's specialties.
Yeah, there was no Ashe ban in game number 1, and it ended up falling all the way through picks and bans.
I do think that the reason why is because we did see the Sivir come in early. That was a key pick in Longzhu's victory over Samsung, as you noted, about a month ago. So if they can just deny that pick, then they are going to be happy. Longzhu does them the favor of taking it out of the pool themselves. So will be an early Jhin here, as well as the Rek'Sai, which was banned by Longzhu in game number 1. They pick it up in their first round of the draft on the red side this time. So plenty of junglers left, however. Gragas, you can see they took away all the engage tools here, and Aurelia does do well in the laning phase against Gnar. So they open themselves up a little bit, or maybe they're just hoping that the Aurelia pick can reliably get a bunch of W auto attacks off.
So the 2 last picks over to Samsung now. And we'll see what they grab. They need a jungler, they need a mid laner.
Yeah, now
I don't know about this Kindred.
Kindred, if you can get the Lamb's Respite off, you can nullify a lot of the damage done by the Jhin on any kind of engage. Crown thinking about the...
Victor would be fine for Crown. I mean, it's most played champion this season by a lot. This would be his 10th game.
Also, the hovers of Twisted Fate by Coco are, I think, getting in his head a little bit, so he wants the strong wave clear to control the Twisted Fate lane. Also, you can interrupt the gate channel with the ultimate from the Victor, so it is a good pick to control.
Yep. Ooh, and are we actually going to see Talia for Coco?
They have picked at least a global jungler, so Rek'Sai with the Void Rush can be there to help respond to Talia ganks in the side lanes. Also, we've seen this matchup go well when Sky played it.
Yeah.
Into Kuzan's Victor.
Well, Sky was able to take out an Azir and a Victor that series. But they're going to switch over to Aurelion Sol. Then they're going to switch over to Azir. I don't know. Okay, they're going to go with the Azir.
All right, the reverse matchup.
Yeah.
This time, we'll see Crown on the Victor and Coco on the Azir. We saw exactly the opposite in the last game. Coco's Azir has not been as spectacular this year as it was last year. But they need a little bit of extra protection probably for this Jhin, but not going for some... We still got plenty of engage. We'll just use the Ashe Arrow and continue on with the Alistar.
Yep.
Like we had in game number 1. They do have a lot of turret diving potential with Ambition on the Lamb's Respite, as well as the ultimate from Race Alistar mitigating some of the damage.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the Gnar too for some pretty heavy engage if he's got flash up. So we'll see what they can do with it, if they can turn it into another 2-0, or if Longzhu will tie up the series. Time to get in the game and find out. All right, Mountain Drake is going to be the first one. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Longzhu versus Samsung. And the fans out in force today. I mean, throughout the ages, you know, the League of Legends ages, which are a bit shorter than regular ages, but they're still ages. Throughout that time, Samsung has had a pretty rabid fan base, and so has Longzhu, honestly, despite kind of perpetually being a bit less than mediocre.
Well, at least the Samsung fans can be excited about the transformation of their team this year. It took them a while to put it together, but a lot of the players that they started with, they stuck with them, and they have blossomed into really star-level players, particularly Crown and Ruler just having an outstanding rookie season.
Absolutely. And it just, I mean, I know we talk about this every single game that we have Longzhu in it, but it's just shocking that they can pick up so much good talent on paper and still, you know, not be able to put together what seems like a good team. I mean, and I don't get it. I don't get it, man. A lot of good players. They've got Lustboy coaching, and yet throughout all that, can't seem to make something that works.
You know, Doa, I think that when you have 10 of these players, you see the invade right here.
Yeah.
They're going to wrap around. Oh, boy.
Wow, Ambition gets blown up completely. First blood goes over to Fury on that Jhin, and they're even going to take the Krugs for good measure. Ouch.
Yeah. Good patience there from Longzhu and getting the stun onto the Krug, and Ambition didn't even have time to flash right there. Fury also has the Deathfire touch instead of the Thunderlords, so not even as much damage as that combination could have been had they both had Thunderlords in the early game.
Wow. But you were saying?
I think my opinion on this topic is that if you have 10 players that you know are all very talented and have been at previous times some of the best in their positions in the world, and you have 2 seasons and you can't make it work, I think you may need to change some of the infrastructure and management. That's what I think about this issue.
Kind of seeming that way. One wonders. And one wonders if Coco's going to be able to get out of this as the gank comes in from Wraith. Flash pulverize onto Coco. Coco gets knocked back with a headbutt. In a lot of trouble. He's going to flash over the wall. Still dies to that ignite. Wraith picking up a kill, so that's 1 for each side now.
Yep. Cheeky gank coming down into the mid lane. Don't expect that in the lane swap scenario. But the reason why they were able to do that was because the delay on the lane swap in the bottom side. So by making that gank, we didn't see the kind of fast pressure. So that opened up a moment for Wraith to actually roam and not fall behind in the lane swap tempo, particularly because there's a Jhin, so you're going to feel confident that you're going to be able to have a tempo advantage with that lane swap anyway as an Ashe. Yeah. It's like they are still going to be a little bit behind. Nope, they're not. It's going to be perfectly fine by the time these turrets actually die. So a little bit of a roam right there. Actually, this wave is melting away.
Yeah, and that's going to delay Samsung taking that first turret.
Yeah, gotta wait for the next minion wave to come through, but it will be approximately even. But that's why you can make that play if you're Wraith and not be worried about falling super far behind in the lane swap. But it is going to open up a chance to do this Drake because they haven't taken the turret.
Well, last game Longzhu got a couple Drakes, but not as many as Samsung did, so they will start things off a bit early here. And getting that Mountain Drake is pretty nice, obviously. Helps with the objectives. Kill it eventually. There we go.
Now the question is, where is Samsung going to go right now? Because if they go into the bottom lane with their duo, they risk giving up both the Drake and the Rift Herald, but they may not care so much about that because they at least got themselves somewhat of an advantage in the mid lane. Although it looks like Coco has bounced back when it comes to CS.
Crown on his most played champion this season on that Victor.
Yeah, he's been great on the Victor. He's been great on everything, really.
He has.
Except for the Anivia. That one was a little rocky.
We'll forget about that one. But the Victors look good. So see what he can do with it here today.
All right, so Longzhu actually chooses to go into the 1v1 instead of trying to secure the Rift Herald buff by swapping up. They really want Expression to be in the lane against the Gnar. Again, classically, this has been a Gnar counter pick. but we haven't seen too much of it, which is why it was a little confusing that QV would take the Gnar when so many teams have banned out the Aurelia against Longzhu.
Yeah.
Try to keep it away from Expression, instead giving the Expression the Aurelia and a matchup that he will be quite happy in.
Well, so far, though, QV having that big lead, just getting some CS a little bit earlier before really going into this 1v1. That level advantage might help them stay pretty even. We'll see. Already putting a little bit of pressure onto that tier 2.
QV not too worried because he has a pink ward even really deep by the red buff right there, so he feels confident and just pushing up and not allowing Aurelia to freeze in this lane while delivering some harassment underneath the turret.
And now Crown actually dropped the Chaos Storm just to push that lane up a little bit farther so he can go back and buy.
Pretty common Victor tactic in any matchup is to drop the Chaos Storm early and often. Oh, Chaser took that buff.
Oh, Chaser. You're fired.
Wow, he auto-attacked. I mean, that's just sloppy by Chaser.
Yeah.
Chaser has been a bit sloppy this series, though, on the whole. The way he was playing around that vision was pretty poor in the first game. And that one just, that's kind of inexcusable.
Yeah, and it's going to hurt Coco, too. I mean, you really need that blue buff if you're the Azir. You don't want to run out of mana. Meanwhile, Fury and Pure, understandably pushing up this lane a bit.
They'll fall back right now, trying to even up the CS total as Fury will be denied. And Samsung doing pretty well with the farm on the map at the moment. Should be pulling further ahead in the top lane and balancing it out on the bottom side as we see these waves reverse. Chaser going back and picking up his red buff. No real aggressive plays on the top of the map yet by Ambition. No, he did have a little bit of an opportunity to do some invading.
Nar really enjoys throwing that boomerang, doesn't he? Just loves it. He's like, wah!
If I could throw a boomerang well enough to have it come back to me, I think I'd be pretty happy with that too, Doa.
It's kind of like those annoying people in tennis that grunt really loud whenever they hit the ball. I mean, come on. When you're playing tennis, you really need to go, whoa! Every time. That's where League got the idea for their champions, I guess.
Yeah, I noticed that Talia also says a bunch of garbage during the game.
Maybe they're just big tennis fans. They're like, well, whenever you do anything, you just have to make a huge grunting, like, wah sound, you know?
Also, like karate, they do that. It's weird.
Well, I mean, maybe you're trying to scare your opponent a little bit with like martial arts, right? I can see a reason for it, a valid reason there, but tennis, come on. Nobody's going to be scared of you in tennis if you make that kind of sound.
Oh,
whoa, he
stole
got
it.
Yeah, nice cosmic binding over the wall.
That's just irritating.
Yeah. That artifact belongs to Bard.
Bard Jerk coming in and taking all your stuff.
Bard Jerk.
And then just magical journeying away.
Yep.
Back to wherever he stores all his junk. I don't know why he needs all that stuff.
On this episode of Hoarders, we visit Bard's secret dimension where he stores all of his junk.
That must be disgusting.
He's like, what's this? What's this, Bard? What's this orb sitting here? And he's like, well, this orb sat in this village for generations, protecting them magically from the high waters of the nearby lake. And when I took it, the entire village flooded and everyone died. And they're like, why'd you take it? He's like, well, because people shouldn't have that kind of power. Thanks, Bard. The gank comes in. Oh, nice snare onto Ambition, but no follow-up. Here we'll flash out. Couldn't take the magical journey backwards. That journey goes one way.
It is
one-way journey.
It is weird that it only goes one way.
I don't know. It's a very specific kind of magic, I guess.
He's not an Amba magical journeyer.
I guess it's not. Coco tries, or Kron rather, tries to all-in Coco, but Coco just casually chicken walks out of that. Ambi journeyer.
Ambi journeyer. Zoolander and Bard have a lot in common.
Yep. Well, not everyone can be really, really, really ridiculously good-looking.
Or good at stealing stuff, I guess.
Ridiculously good at stealing stuff. I don't remember that as being one of Zoolander's qualities.
Not a kleptomaniac.
No, not really. Oh, Coco forced out of lane pretty severely by Samsung here.
It's going well. Crown just ever so slowly chipping down that turret. Here comes the gang.
That's right, the hopping bard has come for your life. Uwe takes damage. That hopping Gnar, man, scary stuff.
Expression here now really suffering in this lane matchup despite having an advantage. The CS going in favor of Cube. He's backing off, and that's the kind of pressure they need to make.
Well, speaking of pressure, Chaser coming in. Magical Journey brings Pure to what could be his doom. Yep, it is. It was doom. Kube picks up the kill there. Meanwhile, Emperor's Divide puts Ambition off of the Lamb's Spite. Thanks for the heal, bro. And Kube in big trouble now. Longzhu responding pretty strongly to that.
Wow, Ambition tried to hop over the Azir wall and just bounced right off of it. You can't do that. Started out looking a little bit iffy, but with everybody committing to this gank, they stick around to kill Pure. And then Cube tries to escape from this. Now watch Ambition's like, no, let me back on. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't hop over the Azir wall. That's what happens, but really good ultimate.
Do you see, meanwhile, the Ashe arrow hit Fury for all the way from bot lane?
Oh, wow.
Well, didn't matter, but nice shot from Ruler. He's got there late.
Did what he could, but they did overstay after the kill because the bottom wave was pushed up to the tier 2, and Ruler really wanted to farm that. They didn't have enough people to commit to that aggression. But at the end of the day, it was a 2-for-2 trade if we factor in the kill onto Expression, so still getting Gnar some nice advantages. Now the Frozen Mallet, the first item for Cube.
Longzhu going for their second dragon of the game. It's an Infernal Drake, too. It's a pretty big one. Ambition walking in. Takes a lot of damage, though, from the Azir. He can't steal it. Trying to dodge the shots with the curtain call. Kube and Crown are there. A lot of damage onto Longzhu. Maybe, just maybe, Samsung can take this Drake.
Ambition really doesn't want to tank this. He doesn't have Lamb's Respite.
Don't think so, yeah. Longzhu backing away. The Drake just looking confused. Now regenning health. Samsung has done their job. Arrow comes through. Right onto nobody. They split just in time. Whoa. Thought for sure that was going to hit somebody.
Yeah, Samsung too low to contest this, so they're going to go after the mid lane since they have the inside track on the river, get some damage down. Bard ult going to miss.
Yeah, Tempered Fate doesn't really hit anybody. Kube, though, is Mega Gnar for the moment, so if Samsung's going to make a run at this Drake, now may be the time, because once Mega Gnar goes down, it's going to be hard to stop Longzhu from taking it.
I don't know. I think Samsung should wait right now. They don't have level 6 on the Alistar yet. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow, all their ults are pretty much down. Ambition's Lamb's Respite looks like it's about to come up in about 10-15 seconds, but that's the only tool they have available to them.
Yep, Chaser coming back in.
So I think you wait for the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and then you try and make Longzhu fight when they don't have the Tempered Fate.
Samsung biding their time for the moment. All right, Longzhu starts the Infernal Drake again, but backs away.
Kindred ult back up. Gonna see Ruler in the bottom side. This may convince them to go after this Drake, and yes, it will.
Yeah, Enchanted Crystal Arrow is not back off cooldown yet. Walking up. Not sure how much he can really participate. The arrow's almost up. They can delay it. They can get that Ashe arrow back. Curtain call pop. No hits yet for Fury. Misses the first two. Drake gets taken, though, by Longzhu. That is pretty big that they were able to get that.
Yeah, really well played, I think, by Longzhu. Not waiting until those crucial ultimates from Samsung came back online. And most importantly, Wraith still wasn't 6, so he couldn't engage.
Yeah.
They needed him to be the engager since the Enchanted Crystal Arrow was down. But Bard already level 6, and that made a huge, huge difference in that Dragon Dance. Wraith not able to contribute. And they made sure that they got the Drake before he hit 6 and before their actual engage came back up. Remember, the two forms of engage for Samsung in this game are Ashe Arrow and Wraith using a headbutt pulve combo with his ultimate.
Yeah.
And neither of those was there, so Longzhu just bides their time, and they do take a very valuable Drake. Now they've got Mountain and Infernal, looking good for them.
It's strange to see Wraith taking so long to hit 6. He's way behind here.
Yeah, well, he hasn't been able to really get much time with the minion waves during that extended dance around the dragons. Does have those mobility boots, though. He should be able to get back in the lane and actually hit level 6 pretty quickly. But that was a huge part of that last Drake for Samsung. And I do think they were smart not to commit to it.
Well, it hurts to lose that Infernal Drake, but they are still slightly ahead on gold right now. I mean, they're even on turrets, so it's not the end of the world yet.
No, but those Drakes, pretty important. Still, as you say, Samsung's scaling is good. A lot of CC for team fights late in the game.
Arrow comes through. It's Fury. Is there any follow-up? Wraith coming from the side. Tempered Fate does not really connect with anybody important. They're going to get the pick onto Fury. Now the pulverize comes in from Wraith, looking for that headbutt. Doesn't get it, though.
Zipping in with the Ghost, but immediately bound up cosmically.
That was a good pick, though, from Samsung.
Yep, was a good
Really
pick. Arrow
needed that.
comes through, and they have the flank from Wraith. Wraith, unfortunately, he did get the flash out of Pure, but because that flash was used to go onto the other side of him, the pulverize not enough.
Yeah.
Just take him out. Rift Herald being considered, but I don't know. Not really worth it right now.
Yeah, I mean, I know the Rift Herald doesn't want to hear that, but sometimes you need to face some hard truths, you know?
Well, they also, who would you put it on? Because they have to respond in the bottom side to pick up this minion wave, so that means QV is not going to be there.
Yeah, it's true.
I think you just don't even try and fight that objective. It's 12,000 HP right now. It's going to take you a long time, and trading it for a tier 2 turret is not worth it.
Fury getting some farm up in that top lane in the meantime. It's kind of dangerous to leave cups of hot cocoa randomly lying around, you know?
I don't think it's that dangerous.
I mean, it's pretty hot if you step in and burn your
How do
toe.
you know it's hot? It's just in a glass.
You think he's serving cold cocoa?
I think that's something Bard would do.
Yeah.
He is a jerk.
He is a jerk like that, it's true. But still, I still wouldn't want to step in that.
You have no evidence that that cocoa is hot, though.
I don't need it. Not what it's about.
You don't even have evidence it's cocoa. Could be a coffee. It could be coffee with a marshmallow in it.
It's true. It could be one of those coffee brewer drinks or whatever with peppermint schnapps. You know what I'm talking about?
It sounds good.
I forget what it's called exactly. Peppermint patty. It's like hot cocoa with peppermint schnapps.
Nice. Could also be something disgusting that Bard is trying to convince people to drink because he's a jerk.
That's true. It could be this awful, vile alien substance from another dimension that he just puts in cups and force feeds people for his own sadistic pleasure.
Might be raw sewage. I don't know.
It could be. Could be that too. Yep. It wouldn't maybe go with the Santa theme as much. Wow, right on the edge of that Tempered Fate. They catch Ruler, and I think Ruler's in quite a bit of trouble. Yep, kill for Fury. Single Ambition going on to Expression down in bot lane, but Expression flashing away. QV trying to chase. They're going to flash for it, so they will go kill for kill on each side of the map.
Really not using any of his summoners to try and escape that. Accepting his fate, I suppose, but Expression does draw 2 flashes out.
Well, yeah, I think Ruler knew he was dead as soon as that Tempered Fate hit him. There was just no getting out of that, so better to save your summoner in that case.
In the end, though, Samsung is the one who actually has the minion wave up near the turret and can take out an objective. They are pinging down onto the topside turret right now, so maybe Jin can grab this one.
Yep. Oh, Chaos Storm doing a lot of damage
Whoa.
to Pure. He has to take a magical journey out, and already Crown really kind of starting to put the fear of Victor into Longzhu.
There's a net win there for Samsung. They increase their gold lead. Their map pressure.
Yep.
The second turret of the game for them.
Yeah, and Ruler dying doesn't really make a whole lot of difference in the grand scheme of things.
Interestingly, he's going for the Infinity Edge here. We have seen some Ashes prefer that for some more late game consistent damage. And he's going to grab that before he even picks up his Runin's Hurricane.
Yep, now Wraith finds Pink Ward. Ruler should be catching up in CS pretty soon here. Getting closer anyway.
I think the most disturbing aspect of this game, Doa, is that Coco really hasn't recovered from that gank yet. that happened in the early game.
That's a good point.
He's
way down.
hugely behind.
Wow. And meanwhile, Ambition gets a free Mountain Drake. So, Mountain Drake going over to Samsung.
Will be the Ocean Drake next.
Yep.
Juve getting progressively more tanky, and the amount of effect he is going to have in the late game team fighting is huge. But Expression, he's got a good game to be playing this Aurelia. Going against the Ashe, will be able to punish her if he gets some good team fight positioning down.
Yeah, I mean, the ability for the top laners to get onto the AD carry of the other team is going to be pretty defining when it comes down to these team fights. You know, if Cuvée can get onto Fury's Jhin, knock him into a wall or something like that, and if Expression can get back on the ruler.
Wraith is there to help set that up. Also, the teleport flank from Gnar, never something to be underestimated.
Yep.
So, Samsung definitely has a few more tools to do it. Temper Fade not going to do anything.
Not a whole lot.
And this is a Baron attempt. They see everybody on the bottom side of the map. This is a risk that Longzhu has decided to take.
Yep.
Ghostblade popped immediately by Jhin to make sure that Fury can get there in time, but it's going to be too late.
Only Coco there to stop this, and yeah, that Baron will go over to Longzhu. Expression tried for it.
Oh boy, man, they committed Chaser to the bottom side. Chaser looks like he didn't have the Void Rush available to him. Still on cooldown, and it's going to come up right now, so that's why you don't make three-man plays after 20 minutes into the bottom side of the map, especially Samsung had just picked up the Mountain Drake to make that Baron just a little bit faster. Now, if Chaser had had his ultimate, I think you can go ahead and do that, but it wasn't there.
So, now the question is, what can Samsung do at this Baron? How hard can they push?
Yeah, pretty hard with a Victor. Got a lot of poke with the Ashe combination. And they were already winning that split push matchup with the Gnar. So, tough times incoming for Longzhu Gaming.
Getting that mid lane turret would be pretty big for Samsung.
Just so much gold you can just snowball with at this point of the game. An early Baron, when still a lot of turrets available, really helps out. He's got one outer turret still in the mid lane.
Yeah. You know, part of me kind of feels like we're back to seeing Longzhu just play rather lackluster again. You know, they just, all right, well, flash from Cuvée, flash from Chaser.
Actually, probably didn't have to flash right there. Maybe that Rek'Sai would have caught up to him, but he wasn't going to get hit by the Jhin root.
But when you watch Longzhu, you know, they just don't look crisp. Everything looks a little bit lazy from their side, you know?
Well, they have not been a good late game team all season, though. That's been the truth. Their shot calling has been pretty absent.
Yeah, decision making just clearly isn't there.
Now they're 5,000 gold down at 23 minutes. And it's all coming off objectives. Kills are even, but those turrets and the farm, particularly in that mid lane, is just incredibly one-sided.
Oh yeah. There goes a mid lane turret. Samsung continuing to push ahead with this Baron buff. And Longzhu may not survive too long in this game, honestly. Curtain call used. And how far can Fury push them back? Ambition taking a bit of damage. But only a bit.
I mean, this would be just devastating for Longzhu, too, losing 10 consecutive games. That is...
Oh, trying to make a play on the Wraith here. Wraith, though, pops that Elsar Ultimate, Twisted Fate, or not Twisted Fate, Tempered Fate onto Ruler Mesh. Wow, that Cosmic Binding from Fury was so close. And if he would have been able to wrap up Ruler and Wraith with that maybe allowed Longzhu to take a team fight, but instead they're just going to lose that bottom tier 2 turret.
Oh, God. I mean, the snowball's just getting out of control right now. Samsung
really
getting more and more and more of a gold lead. They take 3 towers in addition to that Baron. I mean, I guess the only explanation is Longzhu thought that maybe Samsung wouldn't actually go for a Baron at 22 minutes, but that's a big risk to take when you don't have the Void Rush available, and they were just super punished for it. Samsung, especially, as I said, getting that Mountain Drake was clutch.
Yeah, okay, teleport bringing Cuvée in behind the team. They're going to spot him.
He has no Gnar bar.
Magical Journey taking people away. Expression teleports in just to support his team. Cuvée trying to build up that Gnar bar, but it is still only about at 50%. All right, Wraith slowed down, goes in. Tries for the headbutt pulverize. Fury, though, just getting headbutted. Flashes now. Crown comes in for a bit of damage, but can't do it. He doesn't have his Chaos Storm, so he couldn't try blowing up Fury there, but that is a lot of summoners used on the Longzhu side.
That was actually a pretty sad attempt at an engage from Samsung, trying to TP in with a Gnar with absolutely zero Gnar bar, but it doesn't matter. They're so far ahead, Doa.
Well, that's the thing, is like, do they really even care about not getting that fight? I think they just kind of wanted to push Longzhu back, and they're like, whatever, we got summoners, we don't need to fight him. We can just change this into objectives, right? Right, there's a big engage, though. Big knockup from Chaser after the Curtain's Call comes through. Ruler threw the Ash Arrow into Fury to cancel that, but Longzhu still looking pretty good in this fight. Losing one now. Samsung trying to turn it around, and Ruler doing some damage before he finally gets taken out. Gets the double kill in the end, though, and Ambition just not even part of that fight.
Well, he was off split pushing, and Longzhu finds the fight they were looking for. They actually take favorable kills. Baron buff was pretty much done already. But yeah, good setup, and you said, well, Samsung also used a bunch of summoners to even try that engage in the first place. So they do get up punished by it. Ruler actually goes down to the Duskblade at the end of it. Let's take a look at that. I mean, Crown just caught out right there. That's just a great engage from Longzhu. They see their opportunity with only 3 members on that side. Arrow does hit Jin during the curtain call, which actually maybe allows Samsung to pick up a few kills here, which could have been a total disaster for them. You see with the Hurricane in that choke point, Ruler doing work. However, the Jin does get the auto attack, and goodbye, says Duskblade. On to Ruler. Expression pops over the wall with a flash and a Blade Surge to finish off one more kill, but doesn't really move the needle that much on the gold count because it was a 3-for-4 trade, and it didn't really buy them any time because the Baron was basically done.
Yeah. And now Samsung just transitioning right to that Ocean Drake, which they will take easily. Mountain Drake next. Be nice for Samsung to pick up, of course.
If we even get to that point in this game, Doa, a minute
until
the Baron, and Samsung will definitely be ready for that one, and with a 8,000 or 7,000 gold lead rather once this turret goes down, they will be in prime position. Yeah. Take that.
Special there to protect Coco. Zubay's just going to sit and get a bunch of farm on that Gnar. But I mean, even though Longzhu might hold off Samsung again a bit, it's just really hard to imagine Samsung not being able to win a team fight at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's too much. Oh, Pure with a little bit of fancy footwork. Not too much required, though. He does have boots of mobility. So we're going to just fire off that arrow. Should be back in time for shortly after the Baron spawn.
Catching up in farm on that Gnar. Not that it matters a whole lot, but it feels good. Here comes Baron. And Samsung not ready to start that right away. Can't really do it 5v5 anyway.
Well, I mean, Longzhu didn't actually lose an inhibitor. So they are going to be able to defend this pressure against the Gnar, at least for the moment, but there's a big minion wave. QB is actually doing the Krugs right now, doesn't want to push. They don't have vision in that bottom jungle, and that's really what they need to do right now. Samsung needs to focus on getting the wards down so that their split push actually has meaning. They can threaten this inhibitor, and then they can dance around the Baron, and that's what they're going to do. So go in. It's like Spite. Ambition actually going to take that one, brought low by Crown, but he will not grab it.
Doesn't deserve it. That 2-2-3 is here. Oh well.
Okay, so heading back up towards the Baron. Now they have the split push they want. Much better deep vision. Samsung playing this one out by the book.
Yeah, just playing it methodically.
Yeah, I do like the setup though. The patience from Cube while his team actually moved into the bottom jungle. Then you get the wards down. Now you start messing with this Aurelia, and with Frozen Mallet and Black Cleaver, basically a full item up. This Gnar is going to be having a very good time.
right, Longzhu knows that this Baron is kind of the end of the game for him if Samsung can take it.
Vision doing a lot of damage.
Yes, yes he is. Oop. Samsung just keeping the lanes pushed. Top will need some help, maybe in a bit. Oh, Ash Arrow goes through, they hit Chaser. Great though.
Wow, Jin Trap preventing the collapse.
Yeah.
Expression though gets bullied out, has to go back to the fountain, and that means Juve gets some quality Mega Gnar time with the inhibitor.
That'd be huge if Cube could just take that inhibitor, uses the ult on Ambition to throw him against the wall. He's going in on this
This
one.
is a big commitment. They used Gnar ult. Oh, Samsung, I don't know if they can go for both of these things at the same time.
It is pretty bold. Curtain call comes in. Samsung going to abandon it. Tempered Fate slows down that Baron take for the moment anyway. Wraith low in the back of the pit. Chaos Storm rotating around. They do take the Baron in the end, and they take the inhibitor. So somehow, some way, they do get both.
Okay.
Wow.
They did get away with it, though,
Yeah.
but the risk. Cube actually solo killed Expression inside the base while that was going down. But, man, I don't know if you take that risk. If basically your Gnar just committed to using the Gnar ult in the 1v1, then I think you don't actually try and go for the Baron at the same time, because if this goes wrong for whatever reason, Juve very confident though, actually follows up on the flash with a hop onto the minion wave and get the extra distance.
Wow.
Just gets that kill. Is not able to escape, and Baron going on simultaneously. So Juve really having a great day today.
Yeah. Yeah, had a great game one on that Gangplank, got the MVP, and I mean, he might be on track for a double MVP today.
He may very well be. Been doing a lot of work here.
All right, Samsung, time to try to end it, but it's probably going to take a little while. And again, there's no need to rush. Just keep pushing with that Baron, I suppose.
Samsung showing the patience in this game. At the very least, setting up that split push properly so they could go for the Baron and the inhibitor.
So in game one, Longzhu did a good job of holding on, but they just, in the end, you know, couldn't turn things around.
Well, they're going to have...
It kind of feels the same this game, doesn't it?
They're not going to have such an easy time of holding on in this one, though, just because they don't have the same ability to make picks that they had. In fact, their engage is pretty limited. Maybe they could get a Bard ultimate off and turn it into something, but the split push pressure is so huge now from Cube because of how much of an advantage he has in items.
Oh, Ambition takes a ton of damage, though. Fury able to make something work there. So that will slow things down for the moment. Trying to help Ambition get a little bit of health back from the minion waves, but look at that, already the Nexus turret's taking quite a bit of damage.
Aurelia just very under-itemized. Once those super minions start to stack up, hard to get rid of them without AoE.
There we go, curtain call comes in, Young was used as well. Chaser looking for an opportunity for the knockup, but he doesn't really find it.
Doing what they can, just trying to poke them back, and Longzhu successful in that endeavor. They also don't lose another turret on at the Nexus nor in the mid lane. So Samsung struggling to crack the base with this Baron buff.
Yeah.
But they have the Ocean Drake at the very least, so at least when they back off like that, away from the poke, the sustain comes through.
All right, Tempered Fate on the Ruler and Wraith. Is Samsung going to try to capitalize on this? It doesn't look like it. Kube a bit low, but he's going Mega Gnar. Yeah, throws Expression back into the team. Lambda Spite used immediately. Chaos Storm dropped down onto Longzhu. Wraith does get taken out by Coco in the end, but 2 responding kills from Samsung. It ends up being 2 for 2, but they get the inhibitor, and that's going to be the end of game number 2. Ash Arrow just goes through onto Pure, and Samsung ready to end it right here, and they will take the 2-0 over Longzhu. Continue moving up. Samsung actually hopping into first place in the league for the moment anyway.
That's right, 8-3. Now they do have the advantage of having played an extra match compared to KT, the Rocks, Tigers, and SK Telecom, so they could be leapfrogged again, but that is our 4th different team in first place in this league this week, Doa.
It's great. I love it.
been a revolving door in the pole position here in Korea.
Yep.
And Longzhu, oh boy, 10-game losing streak, 5 consecutive 0-2 losses, and that is just brutal.
That is brutal, man. I mean, I can't imagine practicing that hard, you know, throughout the week and then coming and just getting stopped time and time again. It's got to be tough.
Something's got to change. I mean, Longzhu is a team right now that looks like they have effectively zero shot calling.
Yeah.
The Baron that they gave Samsung in 22 minutes was embarrassing.
I mean, clearly Longzhu is just simply a broken team at this point. Something has gone seriously wrong, and unless it seriously changes, this is just going to be the future of this organization for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I don't know what the problem is with this team, but this particular group of players and coaches is, at this point, I think, never going to work.
Yeah.
If it hasn't worked already, the experiment started at the beginning of this year. We're now halfway through the summer season, and it is broken.
Yep. And it's sad to see. I mean, so many good players on this team.
We were so excited for this team coming in this year, making a lot of high-profile roster changes and bringing in players that probably would have gone to China if they hadn't been signed by Longzhu.
That's true. That's interesting. Interesting to see what'll happen after the summer season. I don't imagine that team's going to be staying together. Be hard to believe.
They continue their descent, though. They
Yep.
are now solidly in last place.
That's right. And our MVP was once again Kuve for game number 2, so a great day for the Samsung top laner. A player that had some issues with patch 6.11 when that came in, but he has begun to transition quite nicely.
Yeah, and I like the fact that we're seeing Kuve come back into form, because he hasn't been one of the best top laners in this league. He's no Smeb, he's no Someday, he's no Duke, but he doesn't have to be on this team. And the real key for Samsung as they close out this season, as we switch into a meta that does favor very good top laners and top lane carries, he just had to be adequate. Let's put it that way.
Sure.
I mean, Crown has really stepped up. He's got so much star power surrounding him that he doesn't have to be the big carry on this team, but he put in a really good performance today.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of reminds me a little bit of home if we're going to think about previous Samsung top laners, right?
I think he's much better than On was.
He is, but he's still the workhorse, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he's not going to be the star player. He just gets the job done, but he does have great days like this. And Omad is the games. He had his games once in a while. It was a different time.
He had his finals, let's put it that way. And when I say he had his finals, I mean he had Zach when Zach was broken beyond belief. So I think actually Zach was one of the most broken champions, and he got it at the time.
Well, Blaze didn't ban it, so blame that. Now time for an MVP interview. Take it away, Steven.
Thank you very much, though I'm Monte, for a great cast for today's match. And now we're moving into interview booth with winner of today's match, Samsung, who has been winning consecutively 3 games in a row. And let's hear from our solo MVP, Kuve. So, first of all, congratulations. And how do you feel about this game? Kuve saying that we have won to this game very simple and clearly. Like compared to last time, we have lost against Longzhu, and it was pretty difficult that day. But today we did pretty perfect game. I think we have shown a very great performance overall.
순간이동 타이밍도 그렇고 합류 타이밍도 그렇고 혼자 따로 노는 느낌도 그렇고 그런데 요즘 경기를 보면
So Cloud Templar is complimenting Kuve about before in the first round you have shown like very separate play from your teammate, like very different teleport or play in the other lane. But from the second round, now you came into the play as a team. And Kuve mentioned that we have practiced more focus on the overall lane, top and bottom. And also a lot of teammate like Ambition, Big Brother helped me out. So those kind of part really helped me as a play along as in the team fight.
카운터 역할을 하나요?
아무래도 그 쉔 상대로 보통 이제 잭스나 이런 걸 많이 생각하는데
So now Dongjun asked about some counter picks to Kuve, and now Kuve is talking about Shen play.
그런 느낌 때문에 쓰는 것 같아요.
There are not many counter pick for Shen, to play against, and it was pretty today. But today I play against Gangplank to counter him back with using Shen. So in that part it's even hard for us to play against Shen, but I think Gangplank is a pretty good pick.
큰 부담 없었어요. 이거 이렇게 하는 방법을 이미 알고 있었기 때문에 큰 부담 없고.
So Dongjun's asking about there are any hard time because you guys have lost against Longzhu in the first round, and then Cube said that we have prepared pretty well, and even there were surprise pick like Twitch, but we did we were we had a lot of call during the game, so I think we did pretty good.
그 장면이 준비가 되어 있다고 하거든요.
So now they're gonna move into the video highlight.
트위치의 약간
It's the
공격적인
Twitch play,
플레이,
very
좀
aggressive play
간단하고
from Twitch.
화면을 준비해 봤습니다. 이때 앰비션 선수가 뭐라고 하던가요?
So Dongjun said what Ambition said during that fight, and then Cube said just get him quickly. That's what the call from Ambition.
뭐 큐베 선수는 사실 저 전장에는 없었잖아요.
네.
네. 무슨 생각을 하셨나요?
So Dongjun said you were in that fight, so what do you think about it?
저는 제가 아무 생각 없이 라인 먹다가 잡았냐고. 오 나이스.
And then Cube was like, I was just eating crisps, and suddenly they say, oh, there were a lot of code going on in the earphone. They say like, oh, we got it. So everyone very excited about that.
요즘 나르가 상대 탑 픽을 보지 않고 선 픽이 빈번하게 나오고 있는데 무상성이라고.
So now Dongjun's asking about Nar pick, and then the Cube said that Nar they don't have a specific like counter pick for Nar, so that's why we pick without thinking about other teams' top lane. So Nars is a pretty good pick.
예전에 또 선대희 선수가 종종 활용했던.
And Cube is saying that maybe Yasuo can't be play against it, but he still has a doubt.
좀 아무래도 혼날 수 있기 때문에.
And then Dongjun asked about the Yasuo pick again, and Cube said we might get trouble because of the coach might get angry because of Yasuo play. So that's why we're very careful with it. But it's pretty fun.
당했을 때 더 탄력받는 그런 게 있나요?
So now Cloud Templar asking a weird question about what happened when Ambition get first kill. Because he got killed in the like right away when the game started. And then Cube just laughed with it. He didn't make any loud comment about it, but he made a joke that it will be Ambition get very serious after he get first kill. So
아, 예, 괜찮다. 예. 아, 그리고 이 세트 때 가장 결정적인 또 큐베 선수가 MVP를 받았던 결정적인
now
이유
Cloud
중에
Templar asking the second round game
예, 내리면서 큐베 선수가 막 붙잡고 늘어지는 장면이 있어요.
about the Cube had a very great call and getting the expression from the in the bottom lane.
바텀에 3명 있으니까 이제 저희 팀 위쪽에 있었거든요. 그럼 이제 바로는 한번
So the Cube is saying that there's a 3 champions from the Longzhu in the bottom lane, 3 champions. So Cube had a call to tell his teammate to get a Barons. So it was very quick Baron in the second round.
그 장면 준비되어 있다고 하고.
So there's a highlights about the call from Cube.
이렇게 붙들고 늘어지면서.
So Cube hold up Chaser in the bush and jungle.
확실하게 내리긴 쉽지 않았을 것 같거든요.
And then the Dongjun has said it will be very hard to make that call.
하셨나요, 다들?
But do you had a very specific call?
이겨낼 수가 없어요.
저번에는 이겨.
But now Cube is saying that Ambition making a lot of calls, so it's hard for us to make a call. But I made it this time. So Dongjun saying that there was a fun time that Ambition had a mistake in the Baron call last time. So and then Cube said that's the reason why I made a call this time.
앰비션에 케어가 있었는지 몰라도 좀 좋게 성장도 계속하면서 막 솔로 킬도.
So Cloud Temper asking about are there any like very care from Ambition?
좀 무섭긴 하거든요. 굉장히 잘하고.
네.
And then
성장이 제가 더 잘했기
Cloud
때문에
Temper mentioned about the
그냥
expressions
보시면
Irelia
제가
play.
좀
And Cube said I was quite nervous in the second round because he picked the Irelia. He's pretty good at it. So Ambition really look after me overall game. That's why we can get expression pretty easily.
생각인지 혹은 뭐 선수들과의 종합적인 결론인 건지 좀 궁금합니다.
아무래도 코치님하고 감독님이 이런 쪽으로 하면은.
So now Dongjun asked about the overall combination of the play because recently Samsung have showed the play of like second half, like they take the game very longer. But today it was pretty quick, and then it was from the coach. and then Cuba have said that we have discussed during the scrim and how we can manage the game. And today it was very easy going on us in the second round in the beginning. That's why we can finish game earlier compared to the previous game. And Cloud Temper asking like who's making a lot of critic call during the game, and then Cloud Temper thinking that maybe Wraith making those kind of call, and Cuba say Wraith is very sharp with making call. He look at the game very good overall, looking at good in the map like mini map. So
also explains the difference in their play when Core JJ is in the roster.
And
Oh yeah.
Cuba saying that the bottom lane is done very well today's match, because now Dongjun saying that before finishing this interview, and you got a solo MVP for today, so tell what kind of anything to say to your fans. And Cuba say, I really thank you for all of you guys come visit to this stadium and cheer for us, and we'll practice very hard and get the victory for the next match too. And I guess this is end of today's match interview, and thank you very much. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks for the translation, Steven. And Cube having a great day today in the top lane for Samsung, and Samsung kind of conquering some inner demons by their 2-0 over Longzhu. So going 1-1, I guess, with this team in the series, or in the tournament rather.
Yeah, and they move into first place, Doa.
For the moment.
For now.
For now, yeah. Is there any? I guess there's no chance today, really, that anyone's going to knock
tomorrow.
Tomorrow, though, yeah, it'll almost inevitably happen. So yeah, Samsung, for the moment, for at least about 24 hours, in first place.
Yeah, the only scenario in which that doesn't happen tomorrow is if KT wins 2-1.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yep.
That would change things a little bit, but otherwise, Samsung on top for the moment, and we'll wait for the telecom war tomorrow, which may decide a new first place finisher.
And we'll wait about 50 minutes from now for CJ Entis versus MVP, which after CJ's last match, after the way they used Talia so well, is going to be pretty interesting. You know, normally with as hot as MVP looked, you'd have to say, okay, easy 2-0, and to be fair, probably still will be for MVP, but could end up being interesting now.
Yeah, I do wonder, though, what the bans are going to be. If you take out the Talia, how strong is CJ? Because CJ has come in and they've snagged a couple of surprising wins, even just game wins with the Hecarim. But it seems like once you deny that one pick that they're good with at the moment, that's where you can shut them down.
Well, we'll see what happens. I would think you got to ban the Talia, but we'll see if MVP does it, guys. Who knows? Jin Air didn't. Don't go anywhere, though. We'll be back in about an hour with our next match. See you then.